What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Saddle Cove. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gents, to be quite honest, I actually have no plan for this video here today. Well, that's not quite true. The simple plan is going to be to do some fishing. I still have some pack bait left, so maybe trying for some carp on the one rod. And on my second rod, I'm going to be throwing around some lures, trying out some different lures to see if there's any fish around. Now, this is simply because of the monsoon. I'm looking for specific days where I can go fishing. Didn't actually plan to go fishing, but we have a pretty good day. So after fishing here in Vegas for 3 years, this is now the first time that I'm actually experiencing the monsoon rain. And it's quite nice to have some rain breaking the constant heat. But there is also quite a lot of challenges. For instance, you don't want to be holding a big old rod when there's a lightning storm about, nor do you want to be out on the water when it's quite windy in a little dinghy. That's not going to be a good idea. And it can be quite dangerous out there, especially with the flash floods. Lots of roads get damaged, lots of mud. So access to some fishing spots can be quite dangerous. So be careful when fishing during the monsoon season. But we happen to find a pretty nice day. So let's get some baits in the water and see if we can get some fish. Alright, so we got our rod baited. That's my normal pack bait and some corn. We're going to get that out into the water. Seeing quite a lot of activity, lots of carp jumping. So hopefully this will be a good spot for a little pack bait. Hopefully we get some good carp out there. Alright, already seeing some fish jump near our baits. Maybe we have to keep an eye on this rod. It's not going to take that long, hopefully. And already have a hit. Haven't even got a chance to set up. We haven't even set up the second rod yet, and we already have a fish on. Also didn't put on the little policeman for screaming yet. That's how quick this happened. Just threw it out there and we got a fish. This is what I love about summertime fishing. Didn't even have a proper plan. This is actually not a carp, it's a little catfish. Catfish on corn. Let's get him in the net. And there we go, not even 5 minutes into our fishing session already. Got a big old fat catfish in the net. Alright, so there we go, big old fat catfish. He's still lively, so we're going to get him back to the water quite quickly. Just quickly want to find a place where we can release this fish. Alright, so good catfish to get us started. Let's get him back to the water. And off he goes. Please don't go steal my baits again. Let's rebait, get it out there, see if we get some more fish. So I think before rebaiting, let's quickly explain what's going to happen on the second rod. I'm thinking of using some little lures like this. This is a little Berkley jig head, and I just got some paddle tail on there. Going to cast that around, see for maybe some bass or anything like that. But I will swap to that later. I'm going to start off with a little drop shot rig. On my main line, I just made a little loop knot, and on that I have a little drop shot hook. This is one of the Pro Series drop shot hooks, and a tiny little weight just to give me some casting distance. On this hook, I'm going to put a little bluish, purplish worm, drop shot a little robo worm. The idea being this is going to lift it out of the grass. Maybe the fish can see it a lot better. Great way to try and find some bass in summer. Just getting your baits a bit off of the ground so they can actually see the movement and maybe go for it. So that's going to be on the second rod, what we're going to try and find some fish on. And just to ensure that I secure my little robo worm properly to the hook, I'm going to use a little bait screw, and all I'm doing is I'm screwing that into the front part of our little robo worm's nose. That's just going to give this lure a little bit more of a backbone, and then I'm going to hook the hook through that to ensure that it stays on the hook. Alright, it's taken a couple of minutes, but I think we're ready to finally do some fishing. We got our baits back in the water soaking, and we can finally start fishing with our second rod as well. Now what I'm looking for is places where I think bass would be, on the outside of some grass, maybe near the point. Gonna look for specific spots, gonna cast it in there, gonna move it around on the bottom. Hopefully we'll get some bass, even maybe some stripers with the little moving baits. And I can already feel we're in some grass. That's the difference, this little drop shot rig. We might actually be able to fish above the little grass, and if you have something like a shaky head, that's going to be inside the grass. The fish may not see it. Now the idea with this, I'm going to fish all around the cove, and especially try and go to the outside of the cove where there's a bit deeper water, see if the fish are maybe in deeper. So this little nosed hook robo worm, the drop shot, looks pretty good in the water. I'm pretty sure if I can get that near some bass, there's no way they're going to leave that. The problem is finding the bass, especially if you don't know where the good structure and stuff is. These fish can move around, they can be anywhere. You maybe are casting in the right spot, but you're not there at the right time. These fish move around. So it's all about making casts, and eventually you might get lucky and be in the right place at the right time. That is, unless you know of a good spot or something where you have a structure in the water where these fish will be hiding out. Now, one thing that I have noticed lately, found that there are some people watching my videos that actually don't go fishing quite a lot. I do understand if you're working 9 to 5 every day, you don't have a lot of time to go fishing, and it's a nice idea to know that people are fishing through me. But that kind of makes me wonder, rather than me just doing the type of videos that I want to do, maybe every once in a while I'll do some videos you guys want to see. So if there's any specific type of fishing you want me to do, please go down in the comments and tell me. And speaking about telling me stuff down in the comments, we also needed a question for this video for our month-long competition. Up for grabs are some Amazon gift vouchers. If you want to enter into my competition, you need to be answering all 4 questions during the month of August down in the comments. For today's video, the question is simply going to be, how regularly do you go out fishing? Do you maybe go once a year, once a month, once a week, once a day? I want to hear from you guys. Go down in the comments and tell me, how regularly do you guys go out there fishing? Alright, I've now been casting around this cove for quite a while, and the thing is, even though this cove looks to be quite deep, it isn't actually that deep. There's a few spots where you have a couple of deep holes, but it's actually not that deep. If you have some good gear and you can cast out a bit further, there's a deep channel there, but there are some shelves and some shallow parts all along, and that also means quite a lot of grass in the area. Now carp, they don't actually mind the grass, they will actually remove grass to find food. But I'm thinking, if we want any chance to find some other fish species, maybe we need to move a bit out of the cove. Carp will also be in deeper water as well. And seeing as how we're not getting hits on our carp setup, maybe moving that to deeper water might be a good idea as well. This is the problem with not really having a plan for today. Don't know what really to film. Do I just film myself making a million casts and maybe not catching any fish? Do I film the beautiful surroundings, all of the fish jumping that I cannot catch? We still got our little pack baits out there with some corn, waiting for some carp. Been seeing quite a lot of carp jumping in the area, but it is pretty deep. I don't know whether the fish that's in these deeper parts, whether they're actually busy feeding or just chillaxing in the cooler water. but I'm going to be moving around, making casts. If there's any action, I'll bring you guys to it. Alright, ladies and gents, and that's the problem with not having a plan. You have to leave everything up to chance. Now this morning when I got here, I thought we were in for a pretty good time fishing, but after throwing around all sorts of lures, upscaling, downscaling, hard baits, plastic baits, I absolutely had no hits on that, nothing even following the little lures. And as far as the baits are concerned, you can see the bobber moving every once in a while, like something's pecking at the baits, but nothing grabbing the hooks and swimming off with them. But luckily we didn't get skunked. We got that one little channel catfish. If I had known that was going to be the only fish for today, I might have spent a little bit more time with that fish. But hey, it's called fishing, not catching. Whenever you have a lure or some baits in the water, all you're guaranteed is a chance for some fish to find it. Now yes, there's still a lot of daylight left, still lots of time to fish, but that is all the heat I can take for today. You need to understand that the physical temperature might be lower, but the humidity, that picks up, and that also helps to make it quite hot out. So that's all the heat I can take for today. But I want to thank you guys for following me on this trip. Remember to answer the questions down below in the comments if you want to enter the competition. And feel free to ask any questions down in the comments as well. I do try and answer all you guys. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button, joining my community. I do weekly videos. Do also try and give me a little thumbs up on the video. It helps so the algorithm shows this video to other people as well. And whether you fish through me or just want to watch my shenanigans, I want to thank you guys for following me. And like always, I'll see you next time.